It is time.
Hey guys, we're sitting here on a lovely Thursday evening, just some friends listening to music, having a great time. We're going to be listening to Phoenix. Have you ever heard of Phoenix before, Dylan?
I have not seen them live, but I've heard that they put on quite a show, and it's filled with lots of like eye candy too. Like I'm aware that they've played with like a whole mirror setup as part of their light package, which was like, I forget what festival it was. It was some festival I was at, and it was all everybody could talk about. I haven't seen them live though, but I've certainly heard of them.
Oh man, I've never heard of that. I was at a festival where the main stage had this gigantic mirror, so when you were standing in the front row and looking, you could like see like your reflection, which was really, really cool.
That's crazy.
Yeah, and it was curved too, so you could see like the whole front row, like, you know, behind the band. It was amazing. Yeah, so we've played Phoenix a few times. I really like them because they're one of those bands that I normally wouldn't listen to that type of band, but I just eat up like all of their songs. Yeah. And so this is a song that just got released yesterday.
Ooh, brand new.
Right? It's today's the 8th?
Yeah.
Okay, thank God.
Yeah.
So it got released September 7th, and this is a song with Ezra Koenig. So Ezra Koenig is best known as being the lead vocalist and primary songwriter of the indie rock band Vampire Weekend. He's also the creator of a Netflix animated comedy series and also hosts the Apple Music radio talk show called Time Crisis. So he's received, you know, a lot of different awards. He has 5 Grammy nominations with Vampire Weekend, and he also won Best Alternative Music Album. And then actually he was nominated for Album of the Year in 2016 for his production work on Beyonce's album Lemonade.
Wow.
So a very, very well accomplished person that's you know, doing a song with Phoenix here. So this is off of their album Alpha Zulu, which comes out November 4th, 2022. This is Phoenix with Ezra Koenig, and we're listening to Tonight.
Right out of the gate, interesting guitar sound and interesting rhythm.
Sounds like Devo.
Yeah, it's got Devo vibes.
I love that guy's voice.
I know,
Yeah, I do
and
too.
the effect on it too. Oh, that was cool. Did you see that?
It's got the subtle harmony in the back.
Yeah,
That's awesome.
This is such a classic Phoenix sound right now.
Oh yeah. Like a very 80s sounding snare to me with that gated reverb on it.
Right.
Oh,
It's
yeah.
like, bah. It almost doesn't sound like a real bass. It sounds like a synth bass.
Yeah.
Yeah, you're right. You know, for a brand new song, I really like the song right off the bat.
Me
I do
too.
I
do
can
too.
actually hear
Me
myself
too.
like listening to it, like, you know, like, oh, I'm gonna check that out tomorrow.
Yeah, that's definitely
Yeah.
going on my Spotify list. It's neat. Dylan, you were talking about how you heard the snare and it had that gated reverb. It was like an old retro sound. I didn't notice that until you said something, and the more I listened to it in that context, it's really cool having all of like the super high fidelity sounds on top of like 80s kind of retro sounds, and I think it really works for the song.
Yeah, I agree. And I think, we're kind of in the past few years, we've been seeing a lot of those 80s sounds start to make a comeback, and this is a prime example of that, I think.
Agreed.
Yeah, and not just the sound, but the look and aesthetic too. I see a lot of bands doing like the vaporwave, synthwave, outrun type of thing, which I'm cool with. You know, I could live in like a Taco Bell from the 90s.
Some Cisco dinnerware.
Yeah.
Did Taco Bell start that trend in that color? Is that what inspired all that synthwave look?
I mean, it was definitely a part of it, right? It was all like that
Had to have
pink
been.
neon and like those like weird
Teal
like
blue.
squiggly shapes.
Yeah.
And
Well,
like that cup
yeah.
that has like that like teal and blue like swirl on
Yeah.
it. You know what I'm talking about?
But Cisco brand, they kind of started that back in the 80s. That kind of look, they restaurant supply guy place.
Right.
They're
Oh,
called
Cisco
SYS.
Systems?
Yeah, and it's like SYSCO.
Right.
Yeah.
And they had like styrofoam stuff like that in the mall. The mall would do that.
I hope
a
they
lot.
took credit for starting the new wave of music. Like
That in Arizona tea.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah.
Definitely the green tea can.
Yeah, and I really like this how close to their roots it sounds because I feel like some of the other new songs by Phoenix, it sounds not like that classic Phoenix style, and I feel like this song like really has it, like from that drop that Phoenix does a lot where it kind of like bottoms out and it's like you're just hearing his voice carry you for a second, and then also right after when they go into that like indie fun like synth pop, right, dance party thing that they're known for, and then also the lyrics being like mostly nonsensical, which is I didn't really notice where Ezra was in this. Like, is he supposed to be playing like anything, or like I can't really tell like where his role in this is.
I'm not sure. I think maybe it looks like we're getting ready to see what he's playing.
Yeah, he
here in
might
the
come
video.
out for like a solo or something.
Yeah. So let's check it out.
What if we last till it's on like you promised me? Who let the boys spill their own tree?
I like those split frames. That's cool.
Yeah, guitar.
Are you still up thinking of me? I take all the blame. Is it hard to
That's him. That's
There
him
we
right
go.
there, right?
Yep.
Take me, daddy.
almost everything? Now I talk to myself and it's quite surprising.
Man, their voices work really well together.
Oh yeah, and I like how the two sides were mismatched, and
Yeah.
as the video's going on, they're more matched and like syncing together in weird ways.
Yeah, one zoomed in and one zoomed out.
This is dope.
Now I talk to myself and it's quite surprising.
Using like a vocorder. Just a vocal effect maybe.
Can't you see the sign up on the wall? In the middle of the night, Oh, can't you see the sign up on the wall? In the middle of a fight, talk to myself and it's quite surprising. Roll with me. Let's
Harmonies are really nice.
Yeah, I love it.
with me.
Everything's so nice and clean.
Everything is so like professionally thought out and like put together.
I love the camera work. That's so cool. The mismatched panels are so neat.
Yeah, I thought that was a
That was
cool music
phenomenal.
video.
Yeah,
Yeah,
That
great
was
song.
great.
yeah.
One thing that I was thinking about again is even though that song was a little bit longer than the last song we listened to, I just kept thinking that when my band was in the studio, we would have like an 8.5 minute track and be literally racking our brains of what we could possibly take out to make it any smaller. And I just try and think of all the material that we're not hearing that didn't make the cut. Like, I feel like what we just heard was like a movie, right? And so you probably have like 60 hours of footage, and then they whittle it down and whittle it down and whittle it down until it's literally like the bare bones 90-minute perfect thing. And I feel like what we just heard was that too. It felt like every single part was just like meticulously picked to be like the highest and best use of that time, you know, for the short amount of time that it was, right? And so I don't know, I just think it's like interesting. I wish like there was a way to listen to like what didn't make the song, you know, also
Yeah.
with what did make the song, because I know when you
The
guys are
director's
recording,
cut.
right? Because I know when you guys are recording, you guys are probably doing the song and then you're figuring out ways like how you're going to cut that song down so it can be, like you were saying before, a little bit more, you know, market accessible.
Right. Yeah. I mean, we at this moment in time, we've already done that work. We kind of spent all summer going through that process and recording the album once at home in order to eliminate all those questions, so we would minimize the amount of time we waste in the studio.
God, that's so smart.
That's so smart. Oh my god.
Yeah, because every time I've been
it
in
was
the
a
studio,
ton of work.
every time I've been in the studio, I'm like figuring it out, like while we're on the time. You know, it's so dumb. I'm like paying money
That's
to like.
such Dylan. I've never thought of that before. Also, having been in a recording studio and wasted time, you know, a long time ago, that makes a whole lot of sense to map it out at home and then kind of cut it down before you get in there and spend your money.
Yeah, especially because you said the
Exactly.
guitar players were able to record on their own through like a device that they had, right?
Yes, correct. Yeah. So that saved time. Yeah, that was kind of my whole thing. I was like, guys, if we're gonna go into the studio, we got to know exactly what we want to do. And so we made these like really comprehensive demos and essentially recorded the entire album once already. And now all we're doing is in the studio, we have all of those stems, those instrument group stems in the session. And then whatever we're tracking in the studio, we just mute it. And so whoever is playing can hear the full song as it's going to be in real time at any moment throughout the process. And as we get further and further along, eventually all those demo stems get replaced with the real thing. That's
That is
kind of been
so
our approach.
Smart. Oh my
That's
God.
great because usually you're in there doing like scratch track and like just you know the drum and bass are playing,
And then you have to listen back on like
Yeah.
20 different tracks to see what's like the best,
yeah,
you know,
no,
drums
that's a great
line.
idea.
We spent an entire day doing scratch tracks one time just to get the template, and they were the guy was happy to do it, of course, but
Yeah, I'm sure he was happy.
he was very happy.
Most expensive scratch tracks ever made, right?
Yeah, we got someone in the chat. JHC Hawk says, podcast 99% Invisible has a great interview with the designer of the quote-unquote jazz cup design. So that's what I was talking about, right? Like that like blue wave aesthetic. And you're right. I feel like a lot of bands are going towards that.
Jazz cup.
Yeah, right?
The jazz cup.
Yeah, you need jazz hands for the jazz cup. Hi, this is Mike with Galaxy Jams Reacts. We hope that you enjoyed that React video. Be sure to check out the links below of when we're going to be live streaming our next show and also how to watch full episodes. Please hit that subscribe button. Every single one helps.